mama's in the living room watching Judge Judy. I'm in the kitchen eating leftover sushi, and she goes, oh, girl, you gotta hear this one. A man was arrested for running a theme park, and when they said, where's your license? He said, my dog ate it. Oh, you can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, girl, you gotta hear this one. Mama loves to laugh at how absurd life is, says it's all a comedy and I'm her audience. And I love the way she makes fun of the world. She said, you'll never guess who with their girlfriend. It was a man who didn't get us out of the bed. He said, I've been through hell and now I need some help. You just can't make this shit up. You just can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, girl, you gotta hear this one.
All caps means you're either panicking or trying to represent yourself in court. Both are mistakes. Your feelings are adorable, but they're not admissible, persuasive, or even interesting without evidence. Yes, Heather hates immunity doctrines. It's a personality trait at this point. You don't need to remind her, she wakes up angry about it. Bring receipts. No, I heard it from so and so. This is quid pro quo, not next door. Screenshots are statutes only. Don't fight each other. Fight the law. It deserves it more. If you're offended, excellent. That means you're awake, paying attention, and probably new here. No diagnosing the host. She's petty, not pathological. And don't diagnose anyone else. Stay in your lane, please and thank you. Do not summon the mods. They're tired, hangry, and may bite when provoked. Disagree loudly if you must. The algorithm eats drama for breakfast. Just keep it cute while you argue wrongfully. If you're taking screenshots of my chat, touch grass, tell your handlers. I said hi and find a hobby that isn't me.
Hey everybody, happy Monday. And before anybody goes, oh great, more lips, oh shit. Today is not about personalities, it's not about drama, and it's not about rehashing the same arguments. Tonight is a little different. What happens when the court says this is moot and you say, keep it open anyway? Because we've seen that in more than one case. This just happens to be the funniest version that I've ever seen. Because why not? Why not? So, Lips versus the Bar, some masterclass in how not to be a lawyer. This isn't about feelings, it's about federal rules. And this stream isn't about making fun of her. It's about showing how not to be a lawyer. And I am not a lawyer, never claimed to be one. However, if I was, I would not do this shit. And this is a lesson in when you hire a lawyer, these are some things to look for when you're researching them, and do your research. Because we have seen way too many lawyers where you look at them and they look polished, they look like they know what they're doing, and they open their freaking mouths. And then you research them and you're like, this person's finished last in their law school. And you know what you get, you know what you call someone who finished last in law school? A lawyer. Hope everybody is doing well. Annie, thanks for getting started with 10 Squid Pro Quo memberships. I really, really appreciate you. And thanks for everybody for hanging out with us on the live on the other channel last night. I do greatly, greatly appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. That topic will be something that we cover at least once a month for until I run out of stuff to talk about and things to discuss when it comes to chronic pain. And for those of you who have ever experienced chronic pain, you know you can't really understand it unless you've been there. Well, I've been there. So we that is a topic that is going to be discussed, many aspects of that topic. Oh yeah, remember you have to pass the bar. That's true. Screw the lawyer stuff with her. How about just being a sane person or a good person? Like, it's really not that. Then this is the thing though. I've said it before, there is a difference between what is morally right and what is legally right. Unfortunately, being an immoral asshole isn't exactly for the average person against the law. Yeah, you know. So a little background on this case. This is Lips versus the Florida Bar when she sued the Florida Bar. Not the case against the Florida Bar against her. However, I have to log back into my case locator because there has been a little bit of things, and I'm not going over all the documents because God knows we'd beat our head up against a wall, and we don't have that many brain cells left to lose. My lawyer was a very short, very fat, disheveled man, but was the smartest lawyer in the state. And you know what? That's true. I describe chronic pain as what a little more people, well, at least half the population can understand being pregnant. You think you understand, even as a woman, what it's like to be pregnant, but you never quite understand what it's like to be pregnant until you've been pregnant. And then you're like, whoa, now I get it. That's chronic pain. That's how I describe chronic pain to the non-chronic pain person. So here is what we this one. Whoa. Let's share screen. So there's just a couple things that I have to discuss with you as far as the timeline before we get into the absolutely glorious document that Lips had filed in this case. So last time we read the response to show cause, and we're not really focusing on what the Florida Bar writes because I might agree or disagree with what they say, but their thoughts are coherent. Hers, I cannot say the same. So we're going to get into a quick report and recommendation from the judge to dismiss. And then this Erwin Rosenberg that we mentioned before, the disbarred lawyer who has now been labeled as a vexatious litigant in multiple states. I believe New York labeled him a vexatious litigant. Kept filing things in this case, and the judge struck them every time. He filed an objection to the report and recommendation. However, he is not the only person that stuck his big nose into this case. Oh yes, chronic pain has caused serious addiction issues, including overdoses, the past 30 years with all the pill mill problems of the past. Well, I did sidebar real quick. So if you're not familiar with my other channel, I'm a CODA, I'm occupational therapy assistant. But when I was going back to school for my bachelor's degree and my master's degree, I had to take a speech class. Everybody has to take that public speaking class. God, I hated it. I hate public speaking. Go figure. Make that one make sense. I don't know. However, we had to choose a topic. And because I worked in inpatient at the time, I worked in acute care cardiac. I chose my thesis for the year, my topic, as the opioid crisis and started digging into it. Well, Medicare, in their infinite wisdom, CMS, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, had changed their criteria for how they reimburse doctors. And they changed it from outpatient outcomes, how well the patient did when they left the hospital, to patient satisfaction. Well, you could be perfectly healthy and still be in pain. Like, you came in for a shoulder replacement. You're going to leave in pain. You had a shoulder replacement. Sorry, you had surgery, a major surgery. It's going to hurt. Like, you got the care you needed and your outcome will be fine, but you will leave the hospital in pain. It's unfortunately you had a surgery, that shit hurts. But when the hospitals got their I can't remember what the form it's called. We dug into it a lot when I was in inpatient, making sure we had good outcomes. But when you get that patient survey and you send it back, patient outcomes weren't the priority anymore. It was patient satisfaction. And what makes a patient happy? When they're not in pain. Ergo, what I believe is the central point that kickstarted the opioid crisis and the overprescription of, CMS is a pain in the ass, especially with codeine and billing. Yes. So, sidebar, that is where I feel like the opioid crisis started in the US, was CMS and their infinite wisdom, because doctors were now getting paid based on how happy patients were. And happy patients are painless patients. Painless patients are happy patients. But overprescription, get addicted, doctors stop prescribing them and patients go elsewhere. I have my childhood best friend's older brother. Love this kid like family. Well, kid, he's a couple years older than me. Got in a really bad accident, had pain meds, had a doctor who overprescribed pain meds. Doctor all of a sudden stopped prescribing pain meds. Said friend went to a street pharmacist to get the same pain meds. Got him in trouble and got him like 4 years in prison. So I blame Medicare or CMS. Did we get a Okay, hold on. Bring me your pad so I can charge it. And sorry, that is my child. And to the person who decided to comment that it's distracting with my child in the background, I bless your precious heart, because I love you guys, but I love her more. So, VA prescribed me opioids in 1991 until I got myself off them. Yeah, that's another, yeah. Code auditor here. All insurances stink. Several auto downcode the levels without even looking at what was done. That's awful. Also, I have noticed while working that all private insurance tend to go off of what Medicare does. So when Medicare changes, the insurances start to change to match Medicare. So it's one of those, like, everything is downstream from crappy government. So, but that could be a topic in itself. We will oh, this was a person who had never been on my channel before. It did. It'll come back on. You got to let it charge though. Okay, I know. So, this is a person who had never been there, who had never been here, and it was like, bless your heart. I would really hate to see how that person reacts if if he was ever working and his child was in the background, CMS might have a hard time with that one. Yep, there it goes. High five. I love you. All right. You have pseudo gout and left knee. Oh, nice work. On my other channel, I am going to do a kind of a stream on y'all's stories anonymously, of course. But if you've ever been gaslit by a doctor or you felt like your situation just sucked, email me. Of course, leave out. I'm not going to give identifying details. Yes. I'm not going to give identifying details, but I do want to do a stream letting people know that this is common and you are not alone. You want to call daddy? Okay, go call daddy. So email me if you want to be a part of that. Don't feel pressured to. I'm just saying. So this person, this Erwin Rosenberg, decides to put his name out there multiple times. 51 was stricken, 47 was a document that was stricken. Like, it happened 2, maybe 3 times. Here's the thing. Not so much malpractice, but there is just some times you go to a doctor and they tell you it's all in your head and you find out, I don't know, like a year later that you need brain surgery. Well, that's my story. So that's not outing anybody else but myself. However, that turns out to not be that uncommon, especially with like chronic pain or neurological conditions, things like EDS, POTS, things that you can't look at someone and go, oh, you're noticeably sick. But you keep going back with like symptom after symptom after symptom, and they tell you, oh, it's anxiety. Oh, it's your hormones. No, my brain is literally falling out of my head. Fix me. that kind of a situation. So it's grandpa? Okay. Motion to intervene by Robert Joseph Sarhan. Motion to intervene by Iskender Hodi. This is the interesting one. A motion to intervene by Elliot Ivan Bernstein, is a Florida lawyer who looks like he sued his family members for like an estate. I'm still researching it. It's this. So it's a thing. I'm still looking into that because there's a bunch of rabbit holes that you could dive down strictly from this case. And it makes you wonder who all has intervened and why is this such normal behavior? But he has filed multiple motion to intervene for miscellaneous relief. But this document, I downloaded it. It's 188 pages. So I'm going through and I have to redact a whole bunch of stuff. And will be one that I will read before we talk about it on stream to make sure that I don't dox him or anything and get my channel yeeted. But like, what? However, we will get into the report. Hey, Ed. Bye. Yep. Thank you. Mommy's got to charge it. Angel, mommy's got to charge it. You got your pad right there. Go play with your Barbies. It's going to die. Okay, bye. All right. So let's get in first to the report and recommendation. We'll kind of skip over this, but it's important to the Fruit Loop document. Yeah, all those are all those Fruit Loop in the same club somewhere. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't know. But I'm something tells me that they all had like an issue. The first one we learned was disbarred, and we read a report from even last year where he was trying to appeal something in New York, and it did not work. So this was her this was her report, or the judge's report and recommendation, and there's just a few things to highlight here. So plaintiff instituted this on her own behalf. Um, we all know by now she thinks the rules regulating the Florida bar, Chapter 3, are unconstitutional. Blah 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 blah. So therefore, May 9th, the undersigned issued an order to show cause, directing plaintiff to show cause why this matter should not be dismissed for lack of subject matter jurisdiction, because it appears the claims in the second amended complaint have been rendered moot. Hey, something to bark about. How are you? Plaintiff has timely responded. In response, plaintiff argues the case is not moot because defendants had made no effort to amend any of the plaintiff's alleged conditional or constitutional provisions. It does not render a case moot where no changes in law have been made, and because the unconstitutional provisions continue to be relied on to the detriment of the attorneys practicing within the legal profession in the state of Florida. I would really like to know what, like, the average Florida attorney feels about this situation. Uh, it's oh yes. Thank you. Yes, today is Mr. Squid's birthday. That's one of the reasons I was running a little bit behind today, was I had some stuff to do, including going out and getting his little cake and stuff. So, because to him it's just a Monday, but to the rest of us it's his birthday. So we still celebrate it, even though he's like, yeah, whatever. Upon consideration, undersigned will recommend that this matter be dismissed for lack of subject matter jurisdiction on mootness grounds, and that plaintiff's arguments to the contrary to be rejected, to the extent that plaintiff has argued Chapter 3 rules of discipline are unconstitutional. Oh, just because you don't like something does not make it unconstitutional. Just because they don't personally meet your ethics standards or lack of ethics standards does not make it unconstitutional. And that is that's a big thing with people in this world. Like, just because you find something repulsive or like awful, or you don't like it, or it doesn't make it unconstitutional. It doesn't make it legally wrong. Might make it morally wrong, but guess what? Our laws and our ethical obligations are different. And there's the you know what I mean? That's the thing that I think people miss. It's like being offended. I'm offended by boy bands. Not really, but hypothetically. That doesn't mean, guess how much that matters to like the rest of the world. It really doesn't. I can preach all day about how I hate boy bands. And guess what? It won't make a damn bit of difference, because really nobody cares, because feeling offended by something is a subjective feeling. It's not an objective truth. And that, welcome to what Squid thinks is wrong with society, part 1. Thanks for attending my TED Talk. Because she has permanently retired as a Florida attorney, those rules no longer apply to her, rendering her constitutional arguments moot. I'm just kidding. I love the Backstreet Boys. I love me some Backstreet Boys. However, it's just, I saw it in a meme like 10 years ago, and it just stuck with me. A case must be dismissed if moot if the events that occur subsequent to filing the lawsuit deprive the court of the ability to give the plaintiff meaningful relief. Because conditions giving rise to the plaintiff's complaint no longer exist, To grant plaintiffs the requested declaratory judgment, this court would have to engage in purely hypothetical or academic exercise. I mean, Ashcroft is a lot of damn case law. All right. It's so basically, accordingly, because the claims raised by the second amended complaint were rendered moot by plaintiff's permanent retirement from the practice of law in Florida, this matter must be dismissed for lack of jurisdiction. I mean, her jurisdiction to pronounce any statute, either the state or United States, void because irreconcilable with the Constitution, except it is called upon to adjudge the legal rights of litigants in actual controversies. For the reasons herein, it's respectfully recommended that the court. Oh, and this footnote: mootness is jurisdictional. Not something I thought I'd read in 2026. So that was signed June 9th of 2023. Well, this chick decided to not only say F this to the dismissal, she decided that she wanted to vacate the judge. Holy Bruce. I mean, bubbles, anybody? Like, oh my goodness. And thank you to the person who sent me the $5 Ko-fi. I appreciate that. Ninja Puppy, thank you so much. Vacate the judge, like X-Lax. Ah, I appreciate that so very, very much. Like, all right. Hey, screenshot this. I don't know. This is a rabbit hole that I'm almost scared to dive down because one, I'm scared that I will be so interested that it will take a crap ton of time and effort that I will waste my time on because it'll lead to either nowhere and no one will care. And then I just wasted a whole bunch of time that I could have put into stuff that actually matters. But this right here is what happens when you call me a felon. Is we make fun of you for, and I don't even know if she's still talking. Like, I haven't seen anything. I haven't heard anything. I don't really care, but this is what happens when you piss me off. This is purely from a petty perspective. When you, like I said, when you put all your dirty laundry in some public documents that are public records, I'm gonna let everybody see your shit stains. And I'm thinking about taking the video where she does a makeup tutorial and copying it and seeing what I can come up with. Word is that hubby pulled her Wi-Fi. She's probably afraid of saying anything and having you make it 2 days a week. You know how much content we missed out on because of all the bullshit that happened last week? Like, we still have to go over the SAVE Act because I've heard so many rumors about women not being able to vote that we're actually going to like hit the highlights of the actual bill itself. I have it up on my computer. It's HR 22. I have the bill literally on congress.gov right here ready to talk about. Like, yeah. So, hey Karen, how are you? Yeah, that is true. So Ko-fi goes through PayPal and they only take 5% versus YouTube taking 30%. So you now have a dirty laundry fund. Today's Petty brought to you by Lips. I figure this is a lighthearted and easy way to get a Monday started, especially when I have not had a day off um in week in a week. I am thoroughly willing to give up my right to vote because I've literally seen people that say women are too stupid to vote. This is the same people who want women as a president that think women are too stupid to get an ID. Like the correlation there is like, are you really do they think we're that stupid, or do they believe their constituents are actually that stupid? Oh, and by the way, in order to vote on the House floor, they need to show an ID, by the way. That's the thing. Can you use her makeup video to No, I was literally thinking about doing mime putting her video and, like, following it and seeing what happens to my face at 40 years old. Uh oh, yeah, I know, but here, I used to, like, fact check that stuff, so when I'd hear, like, a rumor or a meme going viral, we'd take it and we'd, like, actually look at the bill and see if we could find all of that stuff. We did it with Project 2025 because someone told me that they were nervous because of it, and we literally went through it and compared it to other documents and deconstructed it and who wrote it compared to what people were saying who wrote it. It was just yeah, I did the most Did you see the video of the woman who was following ICE agents and literally called one of the ICE agents a race traitor, and when another ICE agent said, "That's racist," she goes, "Yeah, I know it is." What? What? Why? Why? Like, huh? Real ID has been adopted by 50 states and 5 US territories since 2005. That little star in the upper corner. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. When I moved to Georgia, I had to change my ID, obviously, and I had to bring my birth certificate to the DMV to get a new ID. I could not find my driver or my birth certificate. So do you know what I did? I went online to the state of Wisconsin. I looked up or I Googled Wisconsin birth certificate. I went some ended up on a website where I typed in my information and they sent me a certified copy for like $20 and I had it within a week and it's right here. I don't know how that's such a yeah, the narrative is so stupid. Yeah, but we like to bust narratives no matter what they like. I don't discriminate either. When I hear something on the other side that I think is absolutely ridiculous, we fact check both sides because both sides are full of absolute crap. So, both sides are absolute shit. And everybody who somehow becomes millionaires when their salary is only $170,000, sus. Sus. Let's put it that way. All right, but getting back to crazy lady here. Oh, Devil fan. Good to see you. It's good. I can't thank you enough for this morning. You are very, very welcome. I appreciate you so very, very much. Um, Devil fan is Devil fan and I are well, Devil fan, you can tell him. It's your life. So, um, verified motion to disqualify magistrate Leslie Hoffman Price. Facts. The plaintiff has a pending amended motion to vacate and amended her complaint before this court on September 10th of 2023. Oh yeah, she also had um, a motion to dismiss or vacate the report and recommendation for dismissal. Forgot that part. The plaintiff has not filed a motion for disqualification on this case previously. You got $20 in a phone. Not all elderly or others do. I don't know exactly what that was referring to, but could we'll go with it. I try. I give it my best. But Devil Fan, you're easy to work with too because you actually care. So, who appoints and reappoints Florida federal middle district magistrates? In the Middle District of Florida, there are currently 14 district judges, no one gives a crap, and 17 full-time magistrate judges. No one cares. A U.S. magistrate judge is a judicial officer of the district court and is appointed by majority vote of the active district judges of the court to exercise jurisdiction over matters assigned by a statute, as well as those delegated by the district judges. Hey, guess what? She's giving us an education on the what a magistrate is. Yes, please join us next Sunday in ETM. Yeah, watch out for movement minutes. Hopefully I'll have one this week. And also, we're gonna have a shorter, like a 5-minute video breaking down one of the portions of what we talked about last night. That channel is my heart and soul. This one is fun, don't get me wrong, but that is like my baby. I put for having very little content on that channel, I put way too much time and effort for the amount of content. I put thought into every piece of content that comes out on that channel because that is my career. That's what I went to college for. Those are my professional certifications. There is no like snarkiness on that channel. That is purely like my career. That is my oh my god, Lip's writing her new obituary. Federal middle district magistrates will serve an 8-year appointment. Full-time magistrates, there is no waiver of the bar membership requirement to practice law in the state of Florida. Any attorney or judge is mandated to be a member in good standing with the Florida Bar Association. That's that becomes important in a second. Yes, come meet Heather, Squid's professional alter ego on evidence through motion. Under Chapter 6, Reappointment of Magistrate Procedures, a panel shall review the incumbent's current service as magistrate judge and other experience. The comments from members of the bar and public and other evidence of the incumbent's good character, ability, and commitment to equal justice under the law. This is also why Belaytho walks a fine line. The panel shall report the court within 90 days after its creation, unless otherwise directed by the court, whether the incumbent is recommended for reappointment. Where his lips, haven't seen her for a while. Did her husband lick her lips and stick her to the wall? I have no idea. Did it die? Did it die? Can you hand me the charger? Well, we gotta leave it there. I never got a notification yesterday. What? What's up? You can't have cake yet. You can't have cake till Daddy gets home. I know, baby. I know. I know you want cake. I know, baby. I know. Somebody wants a piece of cake right now, but we can't have it till Daddy gets home. No. Hey, it's Daddy's birthday. It's Daddy's birthday. We wait for you to cut your cake on your birthday. Maybe a 1-2. We don't have any. You want a 1? You want some M&Ms? Yeah. Okay. Oh. Okay. You want this? Okay. Well, technically, I didn't get a cake. I got cupcakes because Mr. Squid liked red velvet, and I don't. So, well, I do, but I don't. So I got 4 cupcakes. She got chocolate. Speaking of lips. Oh, you want Nutella? You want, okay, go get Nutella and a spoon. Go get Nutella and a spoon. Gail for the win. Magistrate Leslie Hoffman Price was appointed to serve as magistrate of the 11th Federal District Circuit on March 1st, 2019. She has approximately 2.5 years left on her term before she will need to seek reappointment. Hey, Rickles! Benefits of the magistrate receiving from the defendant. She is. Do you okay? Do you need help? Yeah. Okay, Mama mode engaged. But ponder this while I go. Benefits the magistrate is receiving from the defendants. The Florida bar. The defendant is the Florida bar in this case. And she seems to be trying to imply that because the judge is a member of the Florida bar, that there's a conflict of interest. Ponder that while we go into mama mode for a second.
Streaming live from the corner glow. Camera on, but the pace is slow. Little hands tugging at my sleeve. Mama's world, it never leaves. One sip of coffee, one deep sigh. I hit pause, no need to ask why. Mama's on pause just for a while. Grab a drink, hold that smile. Bathroom break, life in a Sadie's. Be right back. My daughter needs.
Hey guys, thanks for your patience. She couldn't reach the Nutella. That's why I, these cupcakes are like this big. They're like $6 cupcakes. They're not tiny cupcakes. That has to be the most unintelligent argument she could put in a filing. Yeah. And hey, French Psycho, how are you? Evening Squid and lovely Squidlet. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, like there is just something in everything that she files where it's like, girl, what? Oh, I love Nutella. It's like I try not to eat it because once you start, you can't stop. Magistrate Hoffman is benefiting from maintaining her relationship with the defendants by gaining their support to endorse her reappointment. The defendant is the Florida bar. So by being a member in good standing with the Florida bar, she is gaining their support to endorse her reappointment. That is the most mental gymnastics fucking Simone Biles shit I've ever heard in my life. Oh. You're fine, Tammy. That is like, that has to be, like, honestly, that has to be one of the most like Simone Biles level mental gymnastics. Gold medal winning mental gymnastics. Just, it's clear that she has been supported by the defendants in this case for her role in the federal district court and continues to remain actively involved with the defendants because she's a member of the Florida bar. Like, I just can't. The defendants recently published articles about her following her appointment as a magistrate on the defendant's website. They do that with most judges. I think they did that with Belaytho as well. When I was researching Belaytho, I think it was either the Florida bar or his law school that he was a professor at. Like, that right there doesn't show a conflict of interest. As recently as the year 2023, the defendants had her appear as a guest speaker for the Florida Bar Trial Lawyers Section Teachers Law Symposium, where Magistrate Hoffman spoke extensively to members of the Florida Bar, while presenting with the Florida Bar member Denise Kim Beamer, Circuit Court Judge. Yeah, but and hey, D'Artemost, how are you? Been listening in the background, checking in. Hi. And hey to all the lurkers out there. I appreciate you guys. Ah. This just gets so ridiculous. It's not even funny. I mean, it is funny, but it's at a certain point. At a certain point, where does this go from like funny to epically pathetic and sad? Where is that line? Hey, Trish, Jackson's mom, I don't like Nutella. I just like hazelnuts to no end. You can gladly have my share. The thing is I don't like hazelnuts either, but for some reason, hazelnuts and chocolate, and I'm good. But I'm like that too. I don't like peanut butter, but give me a Reese cup and I'm good to go. You know? Like, hey, Kelly. The defendant and mandated members of the Florida Bar Association have rulemaking powers to change various rules plaintiff is alleging unconstitutional. And do you notice, but the judge in her motion for or her recommendation for dismissal never said that the rules were constitutional. There's the distinction. If the judge would have said those laws are constitutional, I'm viewing them as that might be a reason to appeal or vacate the judge or whatever. But the judge never said that. The judge literally was dismissing it for subject matter jurisdiction, and moot. You're no longer subject to these rules, so therefore your claim is moot. It literally shows her mental capacity is extremely diminished and arguments from her are ridiculous. Yeah, it's one of those, like, it's just one of those. It's really important when you read things to not only see what the judge said, but what the judge didn't say. And when the judge doesn't say, she never made a decision on the actual merits of the case. Just like the Fed 2 drama and people's reaction to that. The judge never said that the anti what the hail side was right. And that's what I think the anti what the hails ecosystem, them celebrating, is just stupid, because like the judge never said their actions were correct or right, or they want. It's more of a Randy didn't plead it right. Same thing here. You have no standing to plead this because you're not a lawyer anymore. So these rules don't apply to you. It has absolutely nothing to do with the defendants. It's just mandated members of the Florida Bar are allowed to petition the Florida Supreme Court to make amendments or remain silent in support of the Board of Governors' proposed amendments of rules before the Florida Supreme Court. And lawyers, lips included, but this goes to even the best lawyers in the game. Why do y'all write run-on freaking sentences? Make your shit easier to read, as far as you can still use the legalese language. I know you have to, but like, why does your title need to be 8,000 words long? Why does it have to be such a run-on sentence? Because this entire thing was one sentence. Right there. This right here is one sentence. Like, Squid, she doesn't want the near filings to make it to the judge because it's completely incompetent. Well, all these went to the judge. Thus, it seems to be a conflict of interest. The Florida bar mandates membership to those serving on a federal judiciary. The Florida bar mandates membership to everybody who wants to practice law in Florida. Judges, by the very nature of their job, are practicing law in Florida. I don't know what's so freaking hard for her to understand. Like, educated beyond their intelligence. Like, oh my goodness. Thus, it seems to be a conflict of interest. Annual fees required of magistrate used to further political agenda. And guess what? I have to pay fees to NBCOT, and they further a political agenda that 99% of the time I don't agree with. But guess what? Nature of the beast. It is what it is. And thanks to all my lurkers, including the one who just DM'd me. Oh, Magistrate Hoffman is required to pay annual membership fees to the defendants, where these monies are used for lobbying efforts through various sections of the Florida Bar Association. Thus, magistrate paying this annual fee when these fees support clear lobbying efforts and political agendas would violate Canon 5 of the Code of Conduct for the U.S. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't think judges read all this stuff correctly. They just breeze through it and then try to make a decision on what they try to understand. I think their clerks read it. I don't think they actually read it. Like, is she trying to do a sovereign citizen argument? If they're in the bar, they can't be a judge. It sounds like, well, you can't rule on anything where the Florida bar is a defendant because you're a member of the bar. Well, so are you, and you're suing the bar. So make that one make sense. It's just, oy. Magistrate has much to lose by ruling in favor of plaintiff, and the plaintiff's outcome would directly affect the magistrate's professional career. That's a stretch. If the magistrate rules against the defendants in the plaintiff's case, she could potentially lose the defendant's support or possibly even discretionary benefits of the defendants offered to members. Given the history of Florida's federal district court's favorable rulings for the Florida bar, the organization, the Florida Federal District Court Judiciary, benefits from. Also, before people started filing bar complaints against you, you also benefited from the Florida bar membership. Just don't throw stones when you live in a glass house. Like, I don't think that's a threat. I just think she's talking about the judge being a Florida bar member is like a conflict of interest, as if like her being a member of the Florida bar and receiving the same benefits that the judge does. I mean, because the Florida bar could ask anybody to speak. They just asked the judge, and guess what? Didn't Lips make a big deal about talking, making or doing a speech at some other, like, not the bar, but she did some other speech at some like in service or some Women's Day or whatever. She was talking about being asked to do a speech, and it was like this big thing that she was so proud of. Like, so the judge was asked to do a speech. I don't see that as, it happens all the damn time. I mean, the organization the Florida Federal District Court Judiciary benefits from, along with the lack of oversight and power over Florida legal system, any member of the Florida Federal District Court would place their career at risk by making any favorable ruling for the plaintiff. Okay, well, here's the thing. Well, that's not a threat because she's not that's not a threat because she's not a member of the Florida Bar's committee or whatever. If she was if she was involved in that committee and said, if you rule against us, we'll pull your support, that's a threat. But an outside party going, oh, she may lose the support if she rules in my favor. That's not a threat. No, that's not even close to being a threat. That's just her running her mouth and talking about shit that she has no idea about. But it's like, but the question I have here from Lips, explain yourself. F it, I'm gonna day drink. Is why would any other judge be different? Any member of the Florida Federal District Court would place their career at risk by making any favorable ruling for the plaintiff. So what do you want? To move it to a different court? Like, just imagine the genius lawyer we'd get if Lips had a child with pain chips. If oh my goodness. Magistrate will violate Canon 4 by remaining on this case. Talking about shit that she has no idea about is her superpower. I mean, under the Committee on Codes and of Conduct Advisory Opinion 34, the Federal Advisory Board brought about two issues in particular: whether it is a violation of the statement of policy for a judge to serve as a member of the governing board of a bar association when the association might be involved in litigation and the board determines, see, this is the freaking run-on sentence I'm talking about. And she's quoting this, so like this is not her. So this is not limited to Lips. This is a lawyer problem. Might be involved in litigation, and the board determines whether the association should file amicus curiae briefs, and two, whether the spirit and intent of the statement of policy is satisfied by the judge, abstaining from discussion, debate, and vote on matters being considered by the Board of Governors that present a conflict of interest or that might give the appearance of impropriety if the judge participated in the debate and vote. Here is my problem. Still, nothing's been filed in that since November, or at least when I checked last Friday. For a judge to serve as a member of the governing board of a bar association, she's not a member of the governing board. That's not what you said. You just said she's a bar association member. So she. Hey, Real Red Shirt, why do I hear in my head the line from Zoolander? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Because it kind of feels like you have to be. Maybe if I was drunk, I could read this and it would be coherent. Like, well, yeah, magistrate is supervised by a district judge who reviews the magistrate's rulings and reviews recommendations as dismissal and oversees a trial that may move forward. Simple, kind of like PA for a doctor. It seems logical to me, but what she's talking about here, so member of the governing board of a bar association, when did she ever say, so I have to figure out, she never ever said anywhere that she was a member of the governing board. Ugh. Okay, go get it. Like, that she's bringing up shit that does not matter. Given the large amount of cases brought to the federal court against the Florida bar, it seems foreseeable that the defendants should have used their rulemaking powers to address these types of facts that clearly could lead a plaintiff to believing they would not receive a fair and impartial tribunal. You need help? Okay, I will help you. Give me 1 second. Okay. She goes into the canons. However, in this instant case, it's clear that the magistrate benefits from the benefits she receives. Yeah. Were you drunk when you wrote this? Like, were you drunk when you wrote this? I just wonder because what the actual and the support she is seeking for reappointment. Well, I'm sure the support that she receives will be like, yes, she's in good standing with the Florida bar. I think that's about it. Ah. Oh, and Tammy, today brought to you by F-bomb. Just for you. I love that stuff so much. Uh, commentary to Canon 4 reads in part, a judicial officer in person and specially learned in the law. A judge is in a unique position to contribute to the improvement of the law, the legal system, and the administration of justice. Oh, however, in this instant case, is alleging the current process in place to regulate attorneys is unconstitutional. I'm sure she can probably write better when she's drunk. F-bomb. Yeah. I love F-bomb. It's my new favorite thing. Additionally, that the Florida bar has participated in federal crime under the Sherman Act. She's now accusing the Florida bar of a federal crime. Thus, it would clearly lead any plaintiffs in similar circumstances to believe she would not be afforded a fair and impartial tribunal. Oh my goodness. For example, a judge should not be responsible for developing positions on controversial political or social matters that are frequently the subject of court litigation and should abstain from debating or voting on such matters. Further, a judge sitting on a board of a law-related organization must refrain from offering legal advice that could constitute a practice of law under Canon 4A5. She never said at the beginning of this that the judge was on the board. She literally just said she was a member of the bar. Oh, Jeff, thanks for making my day with that one. I saw it, but I wasn't going to say anything, but I'm glad you did. In conclusion, we are of the opinion that a judge may properly serve as an officer or member of a board, council, or committee of a bar association, subject to the restrictions set forth in Canon 4. Oh my goodness. But she never once said. Lisa thinks she's the mayor of the villages. So, well, I have opinions on that from a medical standpoint. But, given the nature of the allegations in this instant case and the benefits and involvement, the magistrate is engaged with the defendants. Could not possibly for the magistrate to be possible for the magistrate to abide by restrictions in Canon 4. She's making me not know how to read. That's oh, you did it, Bluey. Yeah, I thought it, but like I knew he didn't mean it like that. But like the magistrate has benefited from its unconstitutional and the very legal community who has supported her in obtaining the position as magistrate. Yes, because the Florida bar was the one who appointed her as a federal magistrate judge. Make that shit make sense. Like, she is so fucking ridiculous in this. It's not even funny. Like, The mental gymnastics. I swear. Like, it would be reasonable for the magistrate will use her judicial discretion to support the defendant's position. Sh she had to either be drunk or high when she wrote this because the first part she never says. Like, ah, imagine her facing Biden and Bush Jr., the high, the drunk, and the senile. But who's who? 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 Who's who? Oh, this is hilarious. This is funny. Like, to truly have a fair and impartial tribunal, the plaintiff's case would need to be heard from someone who's not a member of the Florida bar. And when the Florida bar has exercised so much control over the destiny of a lawyers, plural, lawyers, apostrophe S, showing possession, in English, grammar 101, without the oversight from the Florida Supreme Court. Plaintiff does not believe she'll be afforded an unbiased and impartial tribunal. The thing is, when the facts aren't on your side and you have a shitty personality, what is the first thing that people scream? Oh, you're biased. Oh, you're biased. No, the facts aren't on your side and you have a shitty personality and nobody likes you. And the people that do claim to like you are only using you for views. You are getting Spawn Trooper Batman giddy. I don't know. Take that up with him. I don't think that's even possible to get that sort of giddy. You have telltale face. Go wipe it off. Go get your washcloth. Given the nature of politics, connections with the Florida legal system, the fact that attorneys get ahead and strive for popularity within their mandatory bar association. Well, people do strive to be for a popularity contest because unfortunately, so a lot of life is not about what you know, it's about who you know. Ask me how I know. Like, she both facts. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm committing a felony by criticizing her law. Yes, because the ability to read and have common sense are apparently felonious acts, according to Lips. Sometimes it's better to be treated as dumb than open your mouth and prove it. Yeah. And hey, Cumulus Babes, how are you? It's so good to see you. See ya. Drive safe. A magistrate is contrasted from a district court judge in the fact their term does not remain indefinitely and requires input from the Florida bar to be considered and reappointed. Input, but that's not who makes the decision because at the same time, the Florida bar has no jurisdiction over a federal court. And I think that's where she's like, oh, because it's a Florida court. It's a federal court, princess. Bless your precious little heart. Your poor kids, because God forbid they're learning anything from you. Those, I really hope those kids are getting a damn good education because, yeah, because they sure as shit ain't getting it from you. Thus, it's clear that no magistrate should be appointed on any case brought against the Florida bar, as it violates a litigant's due process under the Constitution and force the magistrate to violate her ethical duty. Literally, like, oh my God. The woman who has multiple bar complaints against her is talking about ethics. Pot, meat, fucking kettle. Like, I don't even know where to go with that one because her argument, yeah, whatever. Rules. Yeah. Judges disqualify themselves whenever their impartiality might reasonably be questioned, regardless of whether a party moves for disqualification on that basis. I agree with that, but I don't think that this. Um, I don't think that this judge is impartial. By reading this judge's rulings on things, I have no doubt that this judge is fed up with her, but once again, fed up with her, but walking a very fine line. I'm like, holy crap. Like, it's just, we're not going through all of this because a test for a regional. Okay, here's an important fact because reasonable person, we're going to go with a reasonable person. And for sake of argument, we're going to assume that I'm a reasonable person. Okay, reasonable person. A test for a judge's disqualification is whether a reasonable person with knowledge and understanding of all the relevant facts would question the judge's impartiality. Having read all the documents in this case, the judge's orders, the Florida bar's motions, Leslie Federigo's motions, being completely impartial, playing devil's advocate, as much as I like to make fun of lips, I don't like the state or the government in any sense of the word. So anytime I get to rag on a judge or the government, I will take the opportunity because I'm an anarchist at the end of the day. With that being said, reasonable person who hates the government don't see the judge being biased. If the judge would have said in her recommendation that the rule she's citing is not unconstitutional, blah, 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 maybe then I could see possible bias. But the judge never said that. So if the judge is biased or has a personal opinion, she's doing a damn good job at covering it. Like, reasonable? I thought you were yeah, well, there's that. But I can still figure out how to vote, so, you know. Lady Justice is blind, but rules on laws, not feelings. That's true. The reasonable person described here is not a judge, but rather an average citizen. Hence why I read documents. Because if the average citizen thinks you're bullshit, I'm a jury member. I don't know if I would be now, because if they go in and voir dire, what do you do for a living? I read legal documents on the internet and I make fun of judges and lawyers. I'm really not sure how well that would go over with the judge. I'm really not sure if any lawyer would want to keep me on the panel when I hate lawyers and I hate the state. When I would go in and say every opportunity I get to make fun of a prosecutor, I'm taking it. I'm really not sure if I would qualify as a jury member. I'm just saying. But hypothetically, I'm a prospective jury member. A judge does not qualify as a reasonable person or objective observer for judicial disqualification purposes for the practical reason that judges' immersion in the process of dispassionate decision-making and sensitivity to their duty to decide a case on the merits may cause them to consider bias or partiality allegations to be less credible or serious than a lay observer would. Like an ADA-protected felon. That's me. Yeah, no one hates politicians or government more than I, and I worked for these ass whips for 26 years, seen it all up close. Yeah, government employee, military member who has seen things, worked for civilian airline and a large hospital system. I hate big government and I hate big healthcare. On the instant case, it's clear given the facts stated in lines 1 through 24 that a reasonable person analyzing the facts and circumstances of this case would not believe the magistrate would not be biased and impartial. No. If you had told me she was a member of the Florida bar's governing board, maybe, but you never said that. You accused her of it in like halfway through your motion, but when you were talking about her being impartial, you just said she was a member of the Florida bar, which duh, she's an attorney. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, in 49 out of 50 states that I'm aware of, in order to be any kind of judge, you have to be an attorney and you have to be in good standing with the bar that you practice law in. Seems like common sense, right? Like, hey, Hazel Money Angle, how are you? It seems like common sense, but wherefore the plaintiff requests this court to grant this motion and all other remedies necessary and just under statute. And then her sworn statement, whatever. Like, whatever. Common sense and lawyers. Are you kidding me? What a concept with that one, right? There we go. Nothing about lip says common sense. Yeah, that is true. All right. So that is all I have for you today. We are not going to get into anything else because I like keeping these ones short because of the fact that they are just purely out of making fun of somebody. Like, yeah, big healthcare and big government are the same. Money makes the deals and decisions that benefit the populace. Yep, that's true. But anyway, I am going to set us up to redirect over to, let's see, who is live? And we have 77 people here and only 53 likes. Can we get those up just a little bit? Little tiny bit. And let's see, we are going to go over to see Verdict Watch. Lots of people live today, but we're going to go over and see Spawn. And my pretty's new broomstick. It says, just because one judge says it and my pretty's new broomstick. Yes, in the words of our friends, Dear Legal Vices, do better. And with that, I will leave you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I have to get stuff ready for Mr. Squid when he gets home from work, because I have to go to work tonight too. So y'all have a great night. Thanks for hanging out with me. I love every single one of you. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.